Welcome to Lesson 101. Today's objective is that we are going to be able to read tables and schedules in order to learn information. So, a table is something that looks like this. It usually has a title at the top. In this case, it's heights of major mountains. And under it, in the table, is information about the height of major mountains. So we can see the top rows tell us that we have a mountain column, the feet column, and the meters column. So we have two ways to tell how tall the mountain is, and then we have the names of the major mountains in the world. We can use this table to help us know what the tallest mountain and the shortest mountain is. They were really nice to us in this table, and they actually put everything in order for us. So we can see that the tallest mountain is Mount Everest, which is 29,035 feet, and we can also see that the shortest mountain is Mount Fuji, which is 12,388 feet. We can also use a table to compare different things. So in this case, we have the Matterhorn is how many meters taller than Pikes Peak. So the first thing that we need to see is that it's asking us about something in meters. So the first thing we need to know is we should not worry about how tall it is in feet. The second thing is that it's asking us how many meters taller is Matterhorn than Pikes Peak. So we need to find Matterhorn, which is here, and it's 4,478 meters. Pikes Peak is 4,301 meters. So we need to subtract because we're trying to find out how much taller Matterhorn is than Pikes Peak. So if we do 4,478 minus 4,301, excuse my slow writing with my keyboard, we have 8 minus 1 is 7, 7 minus 0 is 7, 4 minus 3 is 1. So we know that the Matterhorn mountain is 177 meters taller than Pikes Peak. Here's a different table. In this case, it's talking about the items that fell in the movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And the first thing that we want to notice is the two columns. The first one is that we're talking about the items that fell, and the second one is the number of items that fell. Which item fell the most from the sky? Now, unlike our last table, we can see immediately that these are not listed in order. So we're going to not be able to just say cheeseburgers. Just because it's the first thing in the list doesn't mean that it fell the most. In fact, it looks like this one actually fell the least. So we already know that the item that fell the least is cheeseburgers because it fell 6,528 compared to 18, 9, 21, and 12,000. This one is the smallest. So we know that this is the least. And if we're looking for the most, we compare 18, 9, 21, and 12. You can see that 21 is the most here, and so the scoops of ice cream fell from the sky the most at 21,864 scoops of ice cream. Sounds delicious. How many more slices of pizza fell from the sky than cheeseburgers? So we can use the information in this table to help us figure out how many more slices of pizza fell. So the first thing that we should do is we should find out how many slices of pizza fell, which is 18,734, and then we need to find out how many cheeseburgers fell, and in this case it's 6,528, and we're going to subtract these two numbers. If we do 4 minus 8, we can't do that, so we need to borrow, and 14 minus 8 is 6, 2 minus 2 is 0, 7 minus 5 is 2, 8 minus 6 is 2, and 1 minus 0 is 1. So we have 12,206 more slices of pizza fell than cheeseburgers. Which is greater, the number of scoops of ice cream or the number of tacos and candy? So here we're asking a different type of question. The first thing we should see is that the scoops of ice cream, there were 21,864 scoops of ice cream. Now we need to compare that to the number of tacos and candy. Because it says and, that means that we need to find out how much that is total. So these two numbers we need to take into consideration are tacos, which is 12,183, and we also need to think about candy, which was 9,432. We need to add those together to find their total so that we can compare it to the total scoops of ice cream. So 3 plus 2 is 5, 8 plus 3 is 11, don't forget to carry, 6, 11 again, and we have 21,615 compared to 21,864. Well, we can tell if we line them up that because there's 864 compared to 615, the scoops of ice cream are still more. Now, we can also use a schedule in order to find out information about something. So this is someone named Sarah's schedule. So the first question it asks us is, how long does she spend at school? So we're going to need to look at our schedule in order to find out when she arrives at school and when school ends. So if we look at our table, we can see when she wakes up, when she leaves, and when school starts. So there's our first time that we need to pay attention to. So our first time that we need to pay attention to is 8 o'clock a.m. Then we're looking for when school ends, and school ends at 2:45 p.m. So we need to use our counting with time in order to find out how long Sarah was at school. So 8 to 9 is 1 hour, 9 to 10 is another hour, 10 to 11 is a third hour, 11 to 12 is a fourth hour, 12 to 1 is a fifth hour, 12 to 2 is a sixth hour, and now we're at 2 p.m., so we have 6 hours, and we need to go 45 minutes, so we have 6 hours and 45 minutes is how long Sarah spent at school. Second question says, how long did Sarah get to play and watch TV? So we need to look at our schedule and find first, when does she play and when does she watch TV? So here it says that she started playing at 5 and played until 6 when she started to eat dinner. So from 5 to 6 is 1 hour. So we know that so far she's been playing 1 hour. Then we look for how long she watches TV. Well, she watches TV at 7 and starts reading at 8, which again is 1 more hour. So when we add up our time of playing and watching TV, we know that Sarah spends 2 hours a day playing and watching TV. The third question says, how long does Sarah have between snack time and dinner? So if we look at our schedule, we can find that Sarah eats her snack at 3:15 p.m. She eats dinner at 6 o'clock p.m. So if we start at 3:15 and we add an hour, we can get to 4:15. Bad. Let's try that again. 4:15. Perfect. Okay, so there's 1 hour. And we can jump another hour to 5:15 because that's still before 6 o'clock. So there's 1 more hour. And then we need to get until 6 o'clock. Now if we jump to 6 o'clock, from 5:15 to 6 o'clock is 45 minutes. So if we add up her total time, we have 2 hours and 45 minutes. And that is the end of lesson 101.